We are going to cut our, first of all, we are going to cut the 360-degree flare. Remember that when we did our calculation, we had 2.14, right? So we are going to use this 2.14. The first thing you want to do, for you not to waste your fabric, or for you not to waste your time, because most times you fold, after folding, now see, when you take a measurement, you now see that this thing is still fabric, you fold again, you shorten it. You know, when you are doing that, you are wasting your time, and you know, you are even stressing yourself. So in order to avoid that stress, you need to calculate for the exact quantity of fabric you need. And how do we do that? We are going to use the formula L plus R. L plus R. This L plus R is the length. What length do you want for your flare? So for this, let me say I'm using 6 inches. Maybe 5. Okay, let me say I'm using 5 inches for this miniature. That is the length of my flare. And then R is the radius. So for this 360-degree flare, this is the radius I'm working with, which is 2.14. And our length, the length for our flare is 5. So 5 plus 2.14 is 7.14. It is this 7.14 that are going to come here on your fabric and measure. This is 7.1. This is 7. So I will just approximate it to 7.5 because it's not much, it's going to just be the exact. In fact, you can add a bit because you might need to add half an inch, especially if you did not factor it into the length. You might need to add your turning allowance. So since I got 7.1, I can just add a bit to it to make it 8. So at this place I have 8 inches, I will fold over. So when you have done your L plus R, you do what? You fold over. So this is it. So this is what you have. Now I also come to this side and do what? Measure the same thing. 8 times 2. So I'm just going to do 16. And this is it. I'm going to cut this out. So this is the exact amount of fabric you need. This is the exact amount of fabric that we need to cut our flare. I also mentioned earlier that when you are cutting a full circle flare, you do what? You fold into 4. You fold into what? Into 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are folding into 4. So you fold into 2 first, and after folding into 2, you fold again into 4. So see what we did. This is the fabric after you have already defined the quantity of fabric you need, so that to avoid wastage, you fold into 2. After folding into 2, you fold into another 2 again, making it 4. So if you check for your 360 flare, please, anytime you fold for your 360 flare, you must have 2 uncut sides. See, this part is folded, it's on fold. So you must have 2 sides on fold here. Then this part is just one fold, you're not seeing anything. Then this part is open. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this side is 1, 2, 3, 4. But most importantly, make sure you have 2 edges like this that are closed. Let me repeat it. This is what you have. You fold into 2 and you fold into another 2. Now, having said that, we're going to take our value. So 2.1, I'm going to measure. Please don't put your tape at one point and then use your hand and do it this way. No, you must follow it round from the apex. So from the apex like this, you take it 2.1. Then you measure your length, the length of your flay, which is 5 inches. Keep moving your tape. So this is what we have. Now, we are not going to cut here exactly. If you cut at this point, you are going to have a slight increase in your waist circumference. So you are going to come up here by half an inch. So you measure half an inch, half an inch, half an inch. Then we are going to cut on this half an inch. Now also go ahead and add your allowance if you want to add your allowance. I'm not adding anything here because we are not sewing it. I'm just using it to show us. Now even before cutting out, you can check to see if you are getting your value or not. So you can check to see if you are getting your value or not. So if you look at this point now, if I measure it when we came up by half an inch, we are having about 3.1, which when we multiply by 4, we are going to be having about 12 point something, almost 12.5. But when you measure on this particular line, you see that we are going to have about 3.75. So 3.75 multiplied by 4. 3.75 multiplied by 4 is giving us 15. So it's more than our waist circumference when we measure at this point. It's more than our waist circumference. So when you go ahead and cut it at this point, it's going to give you excess. So this is okay. Let me cut this. So this is where we marked, this is our radius. But you don't cut directly on this radius. You come up by half an inch before you cut out. You come up by half an inch before you cut out. Because this is a miniature, I did not really take it up to half an inch. I just did about 0.25 upwards. So when we measure here, we are going to have about 3.5. And that 3.5, when we multiply it by 4 to give us 14, which is slightly more than, remember our waist circumference is 13.5. So but if we measure it on this upper part, we are having about 3.3. So that 3.3 times 4 will give us 13.25 or 2. So which is very close to our waist circumference. So now, if we place this on the waist of our miniature body form, see that it is the exact waist of our body form. Is the exact waist. There's no excess of any kind. So this method gives accurate value that you need except you want to have pleats, then you can factor in your pleating allowance. But if you just want a normal flea, please use this formula and you are good to go. So if you remember, because we are not sewing this, I did not add my zipper allowance. So if you are sewing it, you need a zipper allowance, you might need to add your zipper allowance to the waist circumference. So you might need to add 2 inches to the waist circumference that you got. So instead of using 13.5, you can use 15.5. And then we'll go ahead to divide and follow this same process we did here. So having cut that, the next one we are going to be looking at is our 270-degree flame.